out tonight, and I'd like to call this meeting of the Putnam County Board of Commissioners for the regular meeting Tuesday, July 15th. And we'll call the meeting to order at 6:02. I'm running just a couple of minutes late, but that's okay, as long as we're late. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda, and I have been asked to remove item number 8, authorization for the chairman to sign the Georgia Indigent Defense Service Agreement, and call a special meeting for that Friday, and we'll have it during the budget session. And the attorneys will be here to talk about that. So if I could have a motion with the removal of number 8, and we'll have the special call meeting Friday, probably around 10 a.m.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. The motion is to approve the agenda with the exception of item number 8, which will be, we'll have a call meeting Friday, this Friday the 18th around 10 a.m., and we'll call in the middle of our budget session then. And the attorneys will be here to try to work that out. And I think most people are in agreement. It's a matter of getting the paper right. So, any questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor, vote electronically, please. Voting is complete. Districts 1, 2, 3, and 4 vote aye, and the agenda has been approved. Next on the list is our invocation, and we're extremely happy to have Paul Gardner from Mount Ararat Church. I believe this is the first time that I've seen Paul here. And welcome, please come forward and deliver our invocation. Thank you for being here.
Okay. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for just being. We thank you, Father, for your Son, your only begotten Son, Jesus. And Lord, I ask God that you'll impute godly wisdom and godly knowledge upon this board and all the citizens in Putnam County, Lord, to make the right decision, be good stewards of the taxpayers' money, Lord God. And Lord, be with our firefighters and our first responders, Lord Jesus, and the law enforcement, Lord. Keep this county safe, Lord Jesus. We're looking to you to help us along with this, and we just give you all honor, glory, and praise. Amen.
Amen. And thank you again for being here. If you would stand with me now, Paul, would you like to lead our Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to
The flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Paul. Item number 5 is a special presentation, and I enjoyed speaking with Laura Pelifas, and I probably said that wrong. She's a nice Greek lady from Chicago, and she's going to come forward and talk about the 2025 Georgia Recovery Bus Tour, and it's hosted by the Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Development and Disabilities in partnership with the Georgia Council for Recovery. And hopefully I said that correct. If you'll pull the mic then. Thank you again for being here.
Hello. Can you hear me now? Okay. I thank you for being willing to see me today. I appreciate Mr. Garrett getting me on the agenda. I wasn't originally going to come till the 1st, but I guess he thinks this was important for me to go ahead and bring it forward. So this is really kind of annoying, so I apologize. My name is Laura. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I graduated from Georgia State in 2000 with my master's and my bachelor's in social work. I've actually been in Georgia since 1986, it's 1986. So I'm actually a transplant. I've been in Putnam County since 2013. I live in what I call the Truett Cathy home off of Grove Street, if anybody knows what I'm talking about or not, by the Pine Grove Cemetery. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. So anyways, I love my Truett Cathy home. That's my 3 seconds of fame. Anyways, the reason I'm here today is about 6 months ago, I got really heavily into supporting substance abuse recovery or addiction recovery. I am what they consider an ally. I'm not somebody that's in recovery, not because I don't need to be in recovery. Sometimes that gets a little confused when I say that. However, what we do is we support those in recovery or those in a long-term recovery. So one of the things that I was doing in Baldwin County when I stood before their county commissioners is I discussed a recovery community organization. That's not what I'm necessarily here to discuss today, but that would be something down the road we would like to have in the county. And there is a little bit more information in your packet about a recovery community organization, but that's not why I'm here today. I am here to gain your support and hopefully a proclamation to support the recovery bus from the Georgia Council for Recovery to come. We actually had a pre-visit visit with Mr. Garrett. I don't know if anybody saw it on Facebook yet, but we were in front of the courthouse by Mr. Rabbit, and we took our picture, and that has been circulating through all of the state. And the goal of this bus is just to bring awareness. September is Recovery Month, and our color is purple, if you haven't guessed that by now. Yes, sir. This is what the bus looks like, okay? Now, obviously, it doesn't have all those names on there, but what happens is the bus comes. It will be here. In this particular case, it was not scheduled to come this year to our town, but when I was speaking to Mr. Breedlove, I said, you were going to Covington, you were going to Madison, and then you were going over to Greensboro, and then you were going to Washington, skipped us, and went right to Baldwin. And I said, I don't think so. I think you need to come to us. One of the main things as an LCSW, as I do therapy, how I became passionate about this was speaking to a woman. She had children, but she had lost her children to addiction, and she also became homeless, and this was in Baldwin County. And she survived by living under porches in Baldwin County. Sorry, this always chokes me up every time I talk about this. No offense to men, but I can see men. You know, I have a house full. I was raised with vets. I've seen them homeless. I've seen them. But when a woman tells me they're homeless living under porches, and I'm not being sexist, I promise, and they have kids that they've lost, it just tears you up. It just tears you up. And I can't imagine living under a porch, no matter what my situation was. She would tell me that she would be happy to just go and get one cream from a store. And a lot of times she would steal that cream. And she admitted to stealing. I'm talking like coffee creamer, you know. If she could walk out of the store with a cup of coffee, she was happy. I can't imagine not just being able to go get a cup of coffee. Granted, the initial time that they started, using, that was their choice initially, but down the road, that's when the addiction happened. So I'm not saying there isn't responsibility. I do believe in responsibility, but we also have a great responsibility to help those individuals recover. We have 900, it's in your paperwork. You can see it under the state of Georgia. You see all the facts under there? You can see how many people currently the state of Georgia has that are technically in recovery. So the correct number would be 900,000 people in the state of Georgia in recovery, okay? Now, one of the other things that's really important to understand is our statistics. I don't know if you guys have heard about the opioid town hall meetings that are going on right now. There's actually one going on right this minute over at what's it called again? God of Peace. There's going to be another opioid at Jim Davis Park, okay? Then in September, they're going to be having it's actually going to be a showcase. It's going to talk about everything that they did over these 3 town hall meetings, and then it's going to be a fun family day. That was all a grant money, and the reason that the grant money was given was because Putnam County, next to Jones County, in our Department of Health region, has the second highest overdose rate. Now, obviously, the numbers don't necessarily seem large, but when you're considering per how many people we have, it's very large. Right now, there's 45 million Americans in active addiction, 1.3 million across the state of Georgia. The number one cause of death for Americans 18 to 45 is fentanyl poisoning overdose. We rank in the top in our public health district. We are over per capita the state of Georgia. You can find these statistics on OASIS. I don't know if any of you are familiar with OASIS. It's the online vital statistics through the Department of Public Health. I'm not a statistician, so I could not explain how all those happen, but those are all on there. Every death, every overdose, that type of thing, okay? So with that being said, I know that's the negative side, but with that being said, the recovery side is the very positive side, where people become very productive citizens. They become chairmen of the boards at county commissioners' offices. They become doctors. They become lawyers. You just never know. So everybody can succeed from addiction. They just have to be supported. So my goal here is just to get your support for this, support for the recovery bus that's coming. This is the third year in a row. And we hope to get that support from you by a proclamation. And in your packets, there is an example of a proclamation. So if you would read it and you were interested and you would be there, we would love you guys to, any one of you that could be there at the recovery bus. Rick Williams is going to be there. You know who Rick Williams is, I'm guessing. He's going to be there to support me. And he, hopefully you guys will be too. We would love the county chairman or chairman of the commission to present that, the proclamation, but that is totally up to you guys how you present that. But we would love for you to be there. The bus is only going to be there 30 minutes. I have to put in for the parade permit. I found out it can't be in front of the courthouse because apparently that's a state street, so I can't close that. They can't close that. So it'll probably be on the side of the courthouse. Hopefully we can get the newspaper out and all that. But this will be a first for Putnam County. And we are one of the only counties that's getting the bus that doesn't have an RCO.
Newspaper's sitting right here.
Is it in there?
The newspaper.
Oh, hey, newspaper.
That's
So
Ian.
hopefully.
That's Ian. He's
Well,
our
I
editor.
did try to email you yesterday, but it bounced, so I guess I didn't have the right email. But anyways, I appreciate your time and just your support. We're not asking for money. We're not asking for anything but you to give people in recovery a chance. That's all we want. Really. And they want a chance. And most of them would tell you, you know, they're trying. I was in counseling with one gentleman, and he says, I asked him what he would like people to know about him. And he said the one thing he said is, he says, I just want people to know that this isn't fun. I'm not having fun. He said, yeah, it was fun at first, but this isn't fun anymore. And it's not fun. I mean, I can't imagine living the life that particular gentleman did. Was some of it his own fault? Of course. I'm not saying he's not responsible, but he needs the support. And most of the people that get there, not all of them, but most of the people get there, I've seen some pretty scary backgrounds when they've gotten there. I've seen kids, I had my first alcoholic drink when I was 8. I did my first, marijuana when I was 10. So, it's out there and we don't even see it half the time. So anyways, I will be quiet. I thank you. If you have any questions, just let me know.
Any questions, gentlemen? Yes, go ahead.
Laura, thank you. Yes, we have met. I appreciate you reaching out to me. I was particularly struck by one of the statistics you gave me, and you kind of referenced it, but in 2022, Putnam County had 1/3 higher drug overdose death rate than the state. 1/3 higher. That shocked me. Mm-hmm. And I think it's one of those problems that's acute, but to many of us invisible. And I'm glad that you're bringing some attention to it. I don't claim to understand how the county's tackled it historically, but it's great to have you involved and connecting to these wider organizations. And just to clarify your ask of us, the proclamation, I've heard in the past proclamations read out at these meetings, but are you asking us to read it out on the day when the bus is there? Or both?
Yes, I want you to read it out the day that you're there. If you want to read it beforehand, that's great too, however you handle.
Okay, but on the day is the main ask?
Yes, sir. It starts at 9. The bus will pull in a little before that. It'll start at 9, but they are going to come in. We're going to do the proclamation. They're going to do, Jeff Breedlove's been doing this. He's got it down to a T. He said as he said, a couple people speak at 9:30. He'll be pulling out because he's got to go to Vidalia. So, and if you get a chance, look at it. I mean, if you have Facebook or just the website, go to Georgia Council for Recovery. And if you ever get a chance, read the story of Jeff Breedlove. Jeff Breedlove, he's got a story, but he has done wonders, and he's always been in politics and things like that. But you read his story of recovery, and you will be amazed if you get a chance.
Do you know Judge Burleson, Judge Trammell? There's one of those 3 judges, and they have a school.
Actually, that story that I told you, for 6 months, I was actually working for the drug court, and that's where that story came from.
We have graduation here,
I've been
and
here.
it's incredible.
It
This
is.
place is always packed.
No,
And
I've been
we
here.
try
yeah.
to attend, and so
And
they
that-
do a nice job.
Yeah, and that's where my story came from. That person that I was doing counseling with was in drug court. So I was contracting with drug court to do their therapy, and just felt led to do this opposed to that. I also work at the Georgia War Veterans Home full-time, so
So would you like for us to proclaim the month of September the Recovery Month?
yes, sir.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure of the month you wanted.
That's it, yes, sir.
Because I'll entertain a motion, and then we can move forward.
Okay, great, thank you. Can I sit down now, or any more questions?
Any other questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And I think, can I conduct that business right now and ask for a motion? Okay, I'd like a motion to proclaim the month of September proclamation for behavioral health, and I'm trying to get the exact, and to be presented during the Georgia bus tour here in Putnam County.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a verbal vote. All in favor? I'm sorry? Oh, we can do it. We can vote electronically. I didn't realize it was on there. I would ask that you vote electronically. She's that good. Hey, listen, that's how. Voting is complete. Districts 1, 2, 3, and 4 vote aye. The month of September will be proclaimed as the Georgia Recovery, and we will present this during the visit. Happy with that? Very good. Thank you for being here. This is a good thing, and I'm sure Judge Burleson and the other two judges will be very happy with this.
Trammell and Petty.
Yeah, right. Okay, next on the agenda is public comments. I get Lynn, I have sheets laying here. And we have a number of folks signed up. So this proclaims to the agenda, and since item number 8 is no longer on there, that'll be Friday. First on the list is Judy Bell, I believe. Is that correct?
Good evening. Good evening. On April 4th this year, you passed a motion for the chairman to schedule a work session to discuss development processes in Putnam County. And I believe, according to the minutes, this was after you voted against a motion to authorize the chairman to sign a resolution enacting a 90-day moratorium on major subdivisions and rezoning, specifically in District 3. So I'm here to advocate for this type of work session in our county sooner than later, recognizing, it's summer, it's very hot, no pun intended, but there's no hotter topic in our communities than the development and infrastructure here. So at the critical importance of a comprehensive plan that benefits all of us in Putnam County, I'm looking forward to seeing that scheduled work session with some lead time for residents to plan to attend and participate. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list is Lane Poole. Lane? And people make fun, I hope I got your name right.
You did.
Thank you.
I get referred to Mr. Lane Poole very often. But yeah, so I wish I was here to talk about what a beautiful day it is today, because it has been, even though it's been hot. But I'm here because I wanted to discuss the nuisance property ordinance. My friend and neighbor, Ann Rice, couldn't be here today, but she wrote a letter and asked me to read it. And then I have some follow-up. I'll try to make it brief. More than 5 years ago, our neighbors contacted code enforcement regarding serious and ongoing issues with a particular residence. Despite formal complaints, the code enforcement problems persist. The property in question has been the site of multiple unoperable derelict vehicles, a roof permanently covered with tarps. A side note, it's been more like 7 or 8 years that there's been a hole in the roof. Broken windows, discarded appliances and trash thrown all across the yard, and to these days the conditions remain unaddressed. Under the newly adopted ordinance regarding nuisance properties, residents are encouraged to take action by submitting written requests for code enforcement inspections. So we hand-delivered an envelope to Ms. Jackson's office containing 11 concerned neighbors, well above the 5 required by the ordinances, and that was 4 weeks ago. Unfortunately, we have not heard the status or gotten an update, and given the significant amount of time that's passed, we respectfully request an update regarding the actions taken. On a side note, with regard to code enforcement, it's deeply frustrating that the county neglects to enforce code violations on properties like this, yet prevents homeowners of new construction from moving in simply because they haven't planted foundation shrubbery. As a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen of Putnam County, we believe we deserve better. We trust you that you will give the matter urgent attention that it requires. So respectfully, I just wrote down a couple of side notes, and we just kind of wanted an update, because once we turn the letters in, it's like sending it into the cloud. We don't know what's going on. So I put down my name and address and phone number and email. Can I give that to you?
You could hand it to Lisa. She's sitting right there by you. Or do you want to? Oh, I'm sorry. We have to get it. We'll get it as a part of the meeting. So if you would bring that up to Lynn.
Okay, just respectfully request an update so we know that we went to a lot of trouble, and it was a little hard to do, honestly, to go around knocking on doors for help. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list is, and I'm going to have to put my glasses on. You don't ever get surgery on your eyes because it messes with them. But, okay, I can read this plain now. Yeah, I know you had yours the same day. Barb Vargo. Barb, you're next.
Okay, I've got several things and issues to talk about, so we're going to do this real fast. First of all, Jimmy Davis Park. What we saw and what was attended at that meeting, it was truly unbelievable. And we should reconsider Jamie Reed at all points. Her attitude was unbelievable, and at one point, a person was up there, like I am here talking, and her minutes were up, and she had her escorted by the police to sit down. This is not right. This is not right at all. At other times, you could tell by her attitude, she was not happy when somebody was trying to explain to her that some codes should be done better than what they are. The first thing you have to realize is attitude, or you don't accept, you enjoy people coming to you. Somebody has to do something about this woman. She has totally and unbelievably had an attitude that was just totally unbelievable, and she was ready to fight everybody. So as far as Jimmy Davis Park is, this is not what we want for the park. Okay, now let's get into the budget. First of all, I find out in the budget that we're requesting towers again. I thought we had these towers for the fire, EMS, the sheriff's department, and the county roads approved last year. And now we have somebody who requested these towers again. Can we not get it together and get all of these major things put together? We live in a rural area, and heck, we can't even get Verizon to work, let alone having to worry about towers. So I don't know what's going on here, but they were something we already had. And now let's talk about the budget. And guys, let's be really conservative here, okay? I kind of got a little upset when I seen that in the budget, the directors were all asking for themselves at 6%, and everybody below them, their employees, were allowed 3% in COLAs. I mean, come on. If you make $100,000, okay, which a lot of the employees down here don't make. You guys up here do. You're getting at 3%, $3,000. At 6%, you're getting $6,000. I mean, come on, let's look at the budget. I still think even at $3,000, when somebody's making $100,000, that's a lot of money to get back. And I am calculating this stuff. So, you know, I says, this is only part of the budget I'm looking at. And I'm going, oh my God. So let's kind of be conservative and let's really look at the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list is Bill Vargo. Bill?
Hello. I guess I got to echo some of what she already said, and some of it's Jimmy Davis Park, the representation there. Miss Reed, you were there, Mr. Garrett, and very unprofessionally ran. She got pretty rude with a lot of people. Mr. Garrett's wife, after Miss Reed said, I'm open to open comments, or questions and comments, Mr. Garrett's wife stood up and says, I got a question. Well, that's when one of the officers come over and grabbed her by the arm. Miss Reed says, you're out of order. Well, she just asked for somebody who had a question, so Miss Garrett stood up with a question, and then she almost got walked out of there by the officer. That's not the way you run a meeting. Not very professional at all, and that reflects badly on the county. And that was the first meeting I ever attended because that was the first one they ever said you could have public comments at. I didn't get a chance to speak. I let everybody else have their words. I was just flabbergasted by the whole event, and I really think you guys need to support Mr. Garrett and get him somebody else in there that's a little more professional acting. Yeah, and at the end, when Miss Reed had things weren't going well, she says, this meeting's adjourned. She didn't get one motion to adjourn the meeting. She didn't get a second to adjourn the meeting. And Miss Jennifer Ray was standing behind us because it was standing room only in there. Mr. Reed looked to her and says, she said the meeting's adjourned, you're going to have to leave. And it's kind of like, wow, before this got out of control, Barb and I both left because I didn't want to get in the middle of a rumble. That's what it was looking like it was going to get to. We don't need that, not in our county. She's a poor example for it, for a representative. So I hope you guys support him in getting him somebody that's a little more professional in the way she conducts her meetings and so forth. And one other thing, quick note, something off the wall, something totally different. I had asked about a replacement floating dock out at Oconee Springs Park a while back, and I was told that Georgia Power wouldn't allow it. That was after the tornado took it out. Well, I talked to Mr. Neal today at Georgia Power, and he said that we need to get together, the commissioners, and we can replace that dock. He said, I don't see a problem with replacing it. Barb and I tried to load our boat out of there last couple times, and with a little bit of current and wind going there, it was a task for us. And the ramp's slippery. It's just an accident waiting to happen, and I think that walkway next to it would greatly help. So I guess I'm out of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Next is Aaron Olson. Aaron?
Could you help me out here? Okay, sorry. Commissioners, these are pictures of Briar Patch Road, Brer Bear, and Brer Fox behind Fishtails Marina. The residents are older, but long-term Putnam County citizens who want a peaceful existence. They have been fighting to keep their neighborhood for years. The commercial encroachment began several years ago with the construction of Fishtails gas station and marina, and later a second building that they fought to stop, but lost. Thankfully, when the third building was proposed, the Board of Commissioners voted it down by a slim majority. However, RVs have been allowed to be used for long-term rentals along with short-term rentals, and why code enforcement allows some of the decay is beyond my comprehension. Gentlemen, it's embarrassing. This body, now or in the past, continues to make decisions that diminish our sense of community and our quality of life. Tar Baby Estates is a prime example of what happens with neglect and invasion of commercial development. Thunder Valley is your next victim. Hardworking taxpayers should not be subject to this lack of care by their local government. I encourage you to roll up your sleeves and get out into your districts and look at what's happening. I encourage you to listen to your other commissioners and work together for the betterment of Putnam County. Whatever your issues are with Dr. Hersey, get over it. He has years of experience and knowledge that you can learn from, and we need you to soak up every bit of it for the future. Stop relying on the county manager and form your own opinions after thoughtful research. We have roads all over the county that are in desperate need of repair, and based on what I've seen, there's not enough money to pay for the years of neglect. Leaving roads out of SPLOST 10 is just plain reckless. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to put my glasses on. Next is Charles Ray.
All right, you start. I'm going to speak on a motion presented by Commissioner Garrett at the last BOC meeting regarding the replacement of Ms. Reed as the chair of the Jimmy Davis Park Partnership Advisory Council due to her ongoing negative behavior and how she treats her fellow advisors, the public, and Commissioner Garrett during these meetings. During the last meeting, or BOC meeting, Chairman Sharp recommended that Ms. Reed and Commissioner Garrett meet with a mediator to solve their conflict. I understand the reason behind that. I would have done the same thing. I'm in management, so that's a good course of action. So I said, well, let me go to the meeting and see what actually goes on. So I attended the recent Jimmy Davis Park meeting, along with 10 other people that I guarantee never shows up there. So it was fresh body. Ms. Reed should have noticed, hey, there's some people here. This meeting took place after Chairman Sharp told her that she needed to go to a mediator. What I witnessed during this meeting is truly alarming, not only as a taxpayer, but as a human being. For example, the advisory council sought ways to provide school children with necessary supplies. This topic should have united everyone around a common goal and promote cohesion within a community. What happened was truly different. I witnessed that Ms. Reed bullied members of the public, other council members, and Commissioner Garrett. She went as far as threatening to have members of the public arrested for making constructive suggestions on how to provide school supply for children more effectively. I'm confident that other people that attended that meeting will provide written statements for what they've seen, because they've already have. Y'all have all received emails from multiple people, because I've seen them, on what happened there. Commissioner Garrett motioned at the last BOC meeting to replace Ms. Reed as the chair of Jimmy Davis Park was necessary and the right action to address this issue. Anyone who behaves like she did at a meeting after being told that she needs mediation because of how she treats people. And remember, this meeting and what she did was to get supplies for school children. That should have been, as a leader, that's one of the truly, when I can bring everybody together, usually, I'm having to be the bad guy. This is when you could have had that whole room involved and really made a difference. I request that the BOC reconsider Commissioner Garrett's request. I don't see any other way to resolve this. If any of y'all was dealing with the same thing that Commissioner Garrett is dealing with, I would strongly support y'all's decision to replace her. So I'd ask you to do the same.
Thank you. Next on the list is Daniel Brown.
Wow.
Daniel?
Yeah. It's good to be here in plain clothes. The reason I did come here is Jimmy Davis Park. I read in the paper. I know what's going on. I tell you what, Ms. Reed's got a pretty strong spine to take up with everyone in his concerted effort to take her out of that, take her out of Jimmy Davis Park. Ms. Reed has been there since the start of Jimmy Davis Park. And there's a reason now. Chairman Sharp, our county attorney that I think highly of, says that the chairman chooses the committee members. And Chairman Sharp went with me to the Jimmy Davis Park meetings. He listened to me for a long time about Jimmy Davis Park and tried to come up with a solution. The problem that's been going on for years and years with Jimmy Davis Park was vandalism. But back during, and it started after it was built. But when our prior leaders signed an agreement to get the grant to build Jimmy Davis Park, they agreed to the city and the county working together to maintain Jimmy Davis Park in perpetuity. Vandalism started, things changed, all kinds of crazy things going on. The city didn't want it, they gave it to the county. And for various reasons, I could talk without stopping for 30 minutes about Jimmy Davis Park. But what I'm here to tell you is Chairman Sharp has done more on trying to work with the city than any chairman I have seen. And he's done an outstanding job. I wanted to have a member of the city council as the chairperson for that committee so that our city and keeps working together. And Ms. Reed's taken a lot of abuse. Her heart's in it. She can bring a ton to it, but she's constantly having to push the people that are batting against her to get her out of there. But what I would like to tell you guys and ladies is if she bows out or you choose to let Councilwoman Reed go, get another council person, city council person to chair that committee. Keep the relations going on with the city and the county. When our city and the county don't get along, it's like a household. You're going to have bitterness in the household. But Bill Sharp, Chairman Sharp, you've done an outstanding job. Keep our city and our county working together.
Thank you, Daniel. Next on the list is Karen Garrett. Karen, I saw you come in.
Gentlemen, again, you're probably tired of Jimmy Davis Park by now, but there are still things to be discussed. And as several people here today have said, how many of you have actually been to the park to see it, apart from Richard? Oh, you have? Good. Okay. Well, it would be really nice if some of you came to those meetings and saw for yourself exactly what goes down. We had to sit through that. There are more important things to be talking about right now. This is a negative issue, and that's a shame because Jimmy Davis Park is now where it should be. Men make mistakes, and I'm sorry, but I think Mr. Brown made a mistake on that one because he could have put other people in. He didn't. He put Janie Reed in, and yes, she's accomplished a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, whatever is going down now is not good, and it's that whole metaphor of one bad apple. She doesn't have to be like that, but you also should not be in a meeting belittling people, literally being rude, literally closing down a meeting when you don't have the right to do that, and nobody else is able to talk. And yes, she had 2 police there, and Jennifer Ray was approached by one to say, you need to leave. I was approached by another as though I should leave. You're supposed to have public comments, and that's what we asked for, but she wasn't allowing that, and she isn't going to allow that. So what will you do in terms of how will this go forward? And yes, she does need to be replaced. I don't necessarily have to have anything against her, but I am really tired of this going on. I don't need to be belittled every time you go to a meeting. I do not need to have somebody in my face telling me that you're not good or you're the one who causes the trouble. I don't need that. I want to see the positive sides of Eaton, because I know there are positive sides, but her behavior is embarrassing now. And that means it's embarrassing to you because you put her in there. And that means it's your decision to be able to take her out and get her replaced with someone who wants to do it and wants to be there for the park. Because honestly, I don't know what she wants to be anymore, and it's just sad. It's sad that we're even having to have this discussion. But you have the power to change it. So we are all asking that you use that power to change it so that we can take Jimmy Davis Park onto the next phase and see what it can actually do. I think that's all I need to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list is Brandon Burgess. Brandon?
Good evening. I'll admit up until about 6 months ago, I only came here very infrequently. And so I've made it a point to start coming to more of these. And so I want to start off by saying that I'm one of the many people in the county that want to thank you, commissioners, for allowing growth and allowing things here and understanding that infrastructure and growth only happens in our county through private money. To put in roads, we have a private water system, private utilities. The only way that expands with fire hydrants and other mains is through private development. And I agree that we need to have meetings for that, and so I want to volunteer my time, as I've expressed to my commissioner, Mr. Hersey, a couple times, and to this board that, hey, I'm happy to sit on those boards. I've been in development for almost 15, 20 years now, Florida to Massachusetts and out to Texas. I'm licensed in 38 states and happy to put myself in that situation. A couple of things that we want to talk about, and I've seen on the list, Thunder Road, one of those where my development is. We have plans with Mr. Frazier to fix the road there, so we're just waiting for some development to come through there. But again, I appreciate everything that you do. I appreciate everything that we can continue to do and want to be a part of being a part of the solutions and continue with good, healthy growth here. So appreciate it.
Thank you, Brandon. And sorry our clock wasn't running exactly right. That concludes for all the folks that have signed up to speak under the public comments. Now, that don't mean that there's not others signed up to talk about individual items, and I will.
Mr. Chairman, may I just respond briefly?
For?
Public comments.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. As always, I want to thank people for making public comments, and I'm going to give a quick fire response. So I agree, Ms. Bell, that we are overdue in scheduling that meeting. I've been wondering about it myself. I'm sure we're going to get around to it soon, and appreciate your interest. And Mr. Burgess, I think your presence would be greatly valued as well. I'm forgetting an issue now, but what was the second comment on? I'm blanking. Oh, I know what it was. Yes.
Property ordinance, cleaning up the things that we talked about before. That was the second.
Thank you, yes. I know there are updates on that. I don't have them for you, but I'm sure we'll provide you with those updates. I know action is being taken. I appreciate all the support on Jimmy Davis Park. Appreciate Mr. Brown's comments. I, as much as anyone, want positive, healthy relations between city and county, but I would submit that the way Councilwoman Reed is running these meetings is undermining healthy relations between city and county. So, again, thank you for the support.
Thank you. I need you to sign this so that we've got a record of everybody that spoke.
Well, that counts as public comments. I can make public comments.
I'm just making sure that the public comments were all covered under public comments.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Next on the list is the consent agenda. And I'm going to put my glasses on to read this. The consent agenda today consists of approval of minutes from June 24th, the regular meeting, approval of minutes June 24th executive session, to ratify the land purchase and sale agreement of property to provide access to Lake Oconee boathouses of the Sheriff's Office and the Fire Department, and to approve the approval of updated Putnam County Transit Procurement Policy. Those are the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion for that.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda, consisting of approval of minutes from June 24th, approval of minutes for the regular meeting, approval of minutes June 24th executive session, to ratify the land purchase and sales agreement of property to provide access to the Lake Oconee boathouses of the Sheriff's Office and the Fire Department, and the approval of the updated Putnam County Transit Procurement Policy. Everybody understands, and we'll call for the, or is there any discussion, any of that? Hearing none, we'll call for the question. Vote electronically, please. Voting is complete. Districts 1, 2, 3, and 4 vote aye. The consent agenda is approved. Item number 8 has been basically delayed, or you can call it, I'm not going to call it tabled, but we will meet on that about 10 a.m. on Friday, and I believe that has already been published. Moving to number 9, this is the approval of invoice to digitize old zoning maps. Some from let's see, Lisa, you're here. So we'll talk about that, and this is coming from a motion that we made. We give a year to try to put the maps together and then put all the different zoning and get it in place and go back as far as we can go back.
Right.
Go ahead, Lisa.
You have before you a quote from a company called CoFile to archive and to preserve our old original zoning maps. This company has archived records for the courthouse and most recently records for the county clerk. As you can see by the slides that Lynn had up, our original zoning maps from 1996, they're old, they're torn, and they're tattered, yet they have valuable historic and planning information. Archiving them is essential to preserving the county's history. This price reflects the slow and meticulous process, as each map must be carefully handled, cleaned, scanned, and categorized to prevent further damage. Catalog to prevent further damage. They're going to scan them, they're going to clean them. Some of them, they're going to take the pieces and put them together like a puzzle. They have to clean them, and once they clean them and put them back together, then they will laminate them and put them in a big binder to preserve them.
And then the rest of the work can be carried forward.
Right, and then
identifying.
right, yes. Mm-hmm.
And is there a cost to that? Do you want to tell us about that?
Yes. Did you put the cost up? So the cost is going to be $109,060.
$109,060.
And you're talking about 860 maps.
860 maps.
860 maps, yes.
Okay, gentlemen, any questions? Yes, Commissioner Garrett.
Lisa, so am I right that these maps, what we're proposing to digitize, it's solely an entire map of the county from 1996?
Yes.
Okay. Are there older maps in our possession as well, or this is the oldest collection?
This is the older map. This is the oldest that I have in my possession that I can find. I haven't found anything older than that.
Okay. And it covers the entire county?
Yes.
Okay. And does that coincide with when the county first embraced zoning, or not? That happened earlier.
So that happened a little earlier than the maps that we have. When I think the first book that we have goes back to 92. I think it was 92 was the book, the actual zoning ordinance and land use started around 1992.
Okay. And is the primary value of this historic preservation, or is there contemporary value in knowing what's on those maps for zoning decisions that may happen today and in the future?
Well, the history is important, and the value of knowing and being able to compare. All of that coincides together.
Okay. And have we had more than one quote, or is this so specialized that it's very hard to find anyone else to quote for it?
This is the only one that I reached out to because they have history with doing it. I think Trevor was the first to utilize them, and then I think the tax assessors used them, and Lynn has used them as well.
Okay, so they're a known quantity, and we consider them
Yes.
not only high quality, but good value for money?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Jeff.
Oh, I was just wondering, how soon does this need to be done? As quickly as possible?
It needs to be done as quickly as possible. The maps are deteriorating quickly. And we have pieces that are they're in like this file, this long file, and there are pieces that's in the files that are associated to different maps. So they're gonna have to gather all of those loose pieces as well. And every time we touch and handle those maps, they're being damaged even more. So we're trying not to handle those at all.
Now, is this out, we'll start with our budget, our next year's budget. Would this be included in the budget that you are proposing, or will it be, this is just what we need to go ahead and get done before this year, before the next budget?
This is going to come out of the fund balance. This was not budgeted. This is time sensitive. Basically, we have a year to put this stuff together for y'all to go back and look at any old zoning conditions and what carried over, what didn't carry over, where a deficiency may exist. So part of this was we don't want to be handling each and every map a couple times because it's only going to get worse. So if we can do this and have the digitized versions where we can, virtually handle them. And Lisa is right. Terrell, Abernathy, Trevor have used them, and Lynn has used this co-file company for the very reason of preserving the document.
All right.
I think that's a good idea. Thank you.
Yes.
So just another clarifying question. Are there maps more recent than this that are only in paper form that this same task might need to be tackled, or are these the only paper maps that we have left? Everything else is digitized?
So we do have other maps that are more recent, but they're in much better condition than these are. Yeah, they're in binders.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So there shouldn't be a need to repeat this. This should be a one-off exercise.
Yes.
Okay. And to the chairman's point, these maps include any zoning conditions on them?
The conditions would not necessarily be on these maps. The zoning, the actual zoning, there are back in the day when these was done. Of course, they was colored, and we had markers. Well, they had markers because actually this was even before my time, and there was marked on if there was a rezoning. In some instance, the rezoning is dated what the property was rezoned to, and it's colored coded.
Okay. And sorry, last question. Are there, given that conditions are not on these, but clearly there may have been conditions applied to particular properties at the time, is there other paperwork, not maps, but other documents not digitized that are also going to need to be digitized, or is there something, can that be done in a more cost-efficient in-house manner, say?
If it's discovered, we would have to address it at that moment. I don't have anything that's in my possession. I'm not sure whether Lynn has anything in her possession. These are the maps that I have in my possession.
So no other documentation other than the minutes of meetings.
And all the minutes have already been digitized by co-file.
Okay, so there shouldn't be anything else that is
Not that I'm
outstanding
aware
apart from these maps.
Right, not that we are aware of.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Question, Commissioner Hersey?
What year's maps are these?
I think they're 19...
From 95 to when?
96, I think they're 96 maps.
95 and 96, or?
Just 96.
Just 96.
96.
So all of our maps from 96 to current are still in good shape, or?
These are the 96 original maps when the maps were originally created in 1996. There was a time when the maps were revised and updated. Those are not the maps. These are the original maps.
Is this before or after Dorothy Adams recolored the maps?
I have no idea, sir.
I mean, you do realize that R1R was originally put on a map, and I don't know whether these maps have them or not, but suddenly the color of R1R disappeared, and every subdivision was required to get 75% of their residents to sign a petition to become R1R. And I don't know what year that actually occurred.
We're preserving these maps and looking through the documents that Lynn has. Perhaps maybe we can discover that. I can't address that.
I would hope that for those maps and for the minutes from 1996, that there would be a cross-reference to minutes if there are conditions applied in the rezoning approval by the county commission. And my hope is that in each case, the map will have a cross-reference to the minutes of the meeting in which the approval of the rezoning or zoning occurred. So, otherwise, the public is not going to know what's what, right?
Other questions? Hearing none, I will ask for a motion. The motion is approval of invoice to digitize old zoning maps. There's 860 maps and a cost of $109,060.
I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the invoice to digitize old zoning maps.
With the numbers.
With the numbers, yeah.
109,060,
yeah.
and there's 860 maps.
Yeah, with the amount put up.
Do I have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second on the floor. The motion is to approve the invoice to digitize old zoning maps, 860 of them, at $109,060. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for you to vote electronically. Voting is complete. Districts 1, 2, 3, and 4 vote aye. It is approved. The motion is approved. Item number 10 is approval of vehicle and equipment proposed for surplus. Chief McLean, could you come forward and tell us about what's being proposed? Item number 10.
Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for having me. We're requesting to surplus some of our older apparatus. There's 4 chassis that were part of some Georgia Forestry Commission front mount pumpers that we have. The newest of which is a 02, so it's 23 years old, and the oldest of which is a 95. There's a Freightliner, a Ford, and 2 Internationals. And those trucks were no longer serviceable. We shared them with Georgia Forestry, and we were responsible for the maintenance on the vehicles. One of them, the newest of them, hasn't been serviceable since prior to 2020, and the cost to fix it was greater than the value of the vehicle. And our current business model doesn't use them, so we turned the forestry equipment back over to them, and the chassis that the trucks are on are here for us, and I'm asking permission to surplus those. One of the vehicles is a 1984 tanker truck that was originally in Twin Bridges. I think Putnam County bought it in 1994. That truck hasn't been serviceable in 6 or more years. It's been at Georgia Forestry. It has a stainless steel tank on it. When we got that truck, it came from up north, and it was condemned with rust from the roads up there. And you can imagine what kind of shape it's in now. Of course, the stainless steel tank is still in good shape, and that's why it was over at Georgia Forestry for the past 5 years. We were looking for a chassis that would go under it that would support a 2,000-gallon tank. That tank is designed for a single axle truck, and so that's where the failure to find a chassis that was suitable for the tank has been. And at this point, we just would like to surplus the vehicle. And the final vehicle is an ambulance that was decommissioned by EMS. We turned it into a brush truck several years ago. When it was no longer serviceable as a brush truck, we used it with a flatbed on it for our hydrant maintenance guy to drive, and the engine has finally given up on it. So it's been a hand-me-down for quite a while. We're asking for permission to surplus those and some small equipment like old hose testers and various things like that. There's a list included there that we would like to surplus as well. They're no longer serviceable for us.
Cleaning out the garage.
Yes, sir. Trying to lighten the load a little bit.
Any questions, gentlemen? Go ahead, Commissioner Gary.
Chief, just for my information, is this essentially equipment that's surplus to requirements, or is it equipment that needs to be replaced?
So surplusing these vehicles will not affect our current operational model at all. These front mount trucks from forestry, we used to have 80 to 100 volunteers in the county when these trucks were purchased. And you had plenty of people to drive them to the scene and use them. And that was prior to Putnam County having what I call a municipal water system with hydrants everywhere. There were small subdivisions here and there that had them, but we basically had to bring all the water that we used. And in some areas of Putnam County, we're still that way today, but we just have a different business model of getting them there because we don't have a reliable volunteer force to depend on to bring those trucks.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Other questions? Commissioner Hersey?
Just to the county manager, when we surplus these things, they go to where? Gov deals.
Gov deals.
And the monies gotten for them goes into the general fund?
Oh, yes, sir. Last time he did it, he really killed it. We got 90 grand back. So
Wow.
it was a good day.
Maybe enough to digitize maps.
Commissioner?
I went up and looked at the trucks, and you're not gonna have no problem getting. You'll get a good price for some of them trucks. I know there's a lot of people that are going to be interested in them. And I just want to say one thing about the tanker trucks. This is back before Putnam County even had a fire department, and it was always a joke when the rescue squad was by itself, and you remember that on the city truck there was a piece of red tape because we had to run so much water line from a hydrant here to, it sometimes probably 500 or 600 feet. And when it got to that red line, that's when they called a rescue squad to come help them roll the hoses and everything up. And that was always a joke amongst us at the time, back in the 80s and early 90s.
Yes, sir. I remember that.
Thank you, Tommy.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion. And the motion would be to approve the approval of vehicles and the equipment proposed for surplus. And it was all on this group. A motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please vote electronically. Voting is complete. Districts 1, 2, 3, and 4 vote aye. You now are approved to surplus that equipment.
Thank you, sir.
Item number 11 is a discussion and possible action on the fund balance. And one person is signed in to speak, Barb Vargo.
Yes, I was here at the last meeting when everybody was saying, why, on the fund balance, why do we have so much? Nobody wanted to think about what happened in 2020 when everything was shut down, 2021. When everything was shut down. The fund balance works for this. We still have a fire department we have to keep running. We still have a sheriff's department we still have to keep running. We have the road crew. All this has to be kept running even when the county's shut down. So this is why we have a fund balance. Thank God we have the fund balance, for Lisa could be using it right now to digitize something that is going to be actually not just for her, it's history. To have these maps, and they do need to be done. But we are told fund balance. This is why the fund balance is used. When, say, Oconee Springs Park or the golf course or even some of the departments are running in the red, we have to use the fund balance to put them back at zero at least. So there is a reason for the fund balance. Why it has to be this as big as it is, somebody's got to look at the budget and they'll realize that, you know, you do this not just for 2 months. 6 months is like just sitting back and relaxing. So yeah, the fund balance is a very, very necessity of a thing. And think about what it would cost. And, you know, I've asked Paul several times if the county could shut down for a day for we could go home. And he says the people would not like it because he'd have to pay everybody to be home. You know, so think about what this fund balance is for and why it is so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Now then, that was the only one signed in to speak on that. I'll invite Commissioner McElhaney to begin the discussion on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we've had a lot of discussion on the fund balance. I think everyone here agrees that roads are an issue, and we need to do our best to try to address those. I think the issue becomes is how you pay for it. And so I understand Commissioner Hershey's point in the last meeting, and I've thought about it a lot. So what I wanted to propose was that instead of adding this to SPLOST 10, we already actually have that money available, which will not adversely affect the fund balance if we spend it correctly and you spend it the way that the SPLOST 10 might collect it. So I would like to propose to make a motion. Is it okay to make that now, sir?
You can.
Okay. I would like to move that we allocate $3.6 million from the fund balance to be spent on roads over the next 6 years.
You want to say that per year? 600,000 per year? Is that what you're
600,000 per year.
Okay.
Yes.
And to be taken from the fund balance each year?
Each year.
If I understand that right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there discussion?
I just,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just want to
You made
ask,
the motion, you get
Yeah,
first.
so I think we accomplished the same thing doing it this way. And then we don't have to wait on collections and worry about what they're going to be. The money's already there. And if Paul can go ahead and put things out for bid and get things paid, then why not? Why wait on the money if we've already got it there? And it doesn't, we're going to spend that money anyway, and it's a good thing to spend it on. I think Paul's got a plan. He and I sat down and talked about it before this, and I think there's a list of roads that we have that need some attention. And Fraser goes and looks at those, and they're rated. And so some outshine others. But there's a process in place for this, and I think this would be a great way to start addressing that.
Okay, Commissioner Wooten, you seconded, or Nag, you said you wanted to speak.
yes, sir. And now this is going to be something, I'm asking a question that, if I understand correctly, what you're trying to say is if we put this on the SPLOST 10, the money, it would be probably, 2 or 3 years after the bids and everything, it would be 2 or 3 years. And if we take it out of the fund balance, we could start on the roads as probably by Christmas. Is that what we're talking about? And by the time we get the bids and everything out, what would be the time frame on that? Being the money's already there. I'm not, Paul?
So looking at it, the way the motion was worded and what I heard was going to basically make this effective tonight.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm not clear on, is this going to parallel, or are you looking to marry this up to when SPLOST 10 would start, or when the next vote would be, or the next fiscal year? And I thought that's what you had kind of in mind when we were talking about the SPOS 10 projects. So ideally, if SPOS 10 were to pass in November, we would start in November and collect money, whatever calendar quarter, how many days, 90 days after the first calendar quarter closes or something along those lines, which puts it at May. So that's the way I understand the motion, that, yeah, it's a great thing. The problem is, if we wait for SPOS, we're going to collect $50,000 a year, and it'll take 20 months to get money to do anything. With the general fund being involved, that can immediately go to supplement the match on the LMIG money, or to do an additional road at a point in time, or to just basically have an emergency. If there's an emergency out there, you can just take the $600,000 and we'll do whatever we have to do. So it gives us a lot of flexibility with respect to having funds available today rather than waiting for them to accrue. And again, it's my understanding that you'd like this to match up to the SPOS 10 dates, should SPOS 10 pass or whatever, and we start with the vote in November and then collections in May. And is that?
I'd ready to start now.
Well, then there you go. Then it would start tomorrow.
That's what I wanted to know. How soon could you get the bids put out on the highest priority roads? Because I got one that I really need to get it fixed as soon as possible. How soon could the bids?
Today we finalized the road paving project for the Lit Tech projects to include Harmony from Scott to 441, Mahaffey Drive, Crooked Creek, Little Road, and Ward's Chapel from Phoenix to the front gate. So those roads, the sub-base was problematic, and when you start doing full-depth reclamations of road, it becomes significantly more expensive than just overlaying 4 inches of asphalt. And that's why we had to stop mid-course and get Harmony done. It was in such bad shape that it wouldn't tolerate what we wanted to do, and it wouldn't last.
Mhm.
So we have those projects getting ready to hit the street and be advertised for 4 weeks in accordance with what we got to do for Public Works. And Lynn has looked at it. She's working on blessing it at the moment. So,
Okay.
but
This
that's
just
what we're
came
looking
today.
at. But yeah, having the money today to go do an LMIG project, yeah, the LMIG projects will be out, and I believe they're out already. We can start looking at adding roads to it, and that would be a nice supplemental amount to get your emergency road done. But waiting and collecting $50,000 a month doesn't buy you a whole lot of efficiency when the contractor is going to charge a premium for coming in for 1 or 2 miles of road. 4 miles of road is better, 10 miles is great, 70 miles is even better, the price comes down. So it's a balancing act of what you think things are going to cost and how much work would be productive for a contractor to come visit.
All right. 'Cause, I got one road in my district that been classified as we're gonna have to pretty much dig it up and redo it, and I just wanted to just check and see how soon that could be done.
But it's a process, and what is a challenge to get across to folks is T-Splosh number 1 was 100 miles. That was a 5-year window or a 6-year window. I forget off the top of my head. This one is 76 miles, and we're going to add some more to it. So if you're averaging 90 to 100 miles a year, we have 400 plus miles. That's a 20-year cycle. And the list we'll have for T-Splosh number 3 in May, we'll have another 100 miles on it, ideally, and you would have touched 75% of your roads in 15 years, which is a really good schedule. It's a manageable cost. You know what's coming. And some of these smaller cul-de-sacs, as I said earlier, we're going to do in-house. Some of this stuff will be we touch it one time, and we won't have to go back to that cul-de-sac for 20 or 30 years. But it's a very arduous process. The roads are a surprise each and every time. Sometimes it's exactly asphalt over dirt, asphalt over millings. It's just a smorgasbord of the way things were done back in the day. And I've preached up here most of my career. I like to smooth in the wins and losses so the county is not bitten by a huge uptick or some unexpected cost. We smooth in fund balance gains, we smooth in fund balance losses, we smooth in purchasing just to make sure that y'all aren't surprised with, why am I getting a $6 million bill for something that should have been taken care of years at a time? And T-Splosh number one was a huge win. That was an opportunity for the counties to go after a local penny of sales tax or a regional penny of sales tax, and we were one of two counties lucky enough to qualify for both because the law was silent in the time frame in which we did that. So that didn't work out because that would have been great. But doing this methodically and over time with a very robust contractor that will get a contract that gets contractors' attention when a project's $15 million and up. We got some really great numbers. 15.1 for the project for 76 miles of road is an outstanding number. So I look forward to those levels of discussion of now that we're past the halfway point of paving roads. At 400, you can argue if it's 410 or 420, but we're going to be pretty close to going into those small neighborhoods and going into those back streets that are not heavily traveled. There's no predominant church or business or anything in there, and we can start tackling these one at a time and dealing with those surprises. So,
and also my understanding of it is that while they hear, and we can add a few more miles here and a few more miles there, it'll be a lot cheaper too while they here. Am I understanding that correctly?
Oh, definitely. I'd love the equipment. I'm so happy we have an asphalt plant. I'm probably the only one.
That sounds good. All right, thank you, Paul.
Other questions, Commissioner Hersey?
We'll get into a more detailed discussion of the roads in another item. But what I want to be sure of is the motion on the floor to apply from the fund balance 3.6 million over 6 years for road repaving. Is that correct? I mean, I don't care about an emergency, a culvert being washed out. That has to be covered in something else. This is strictly for roads that are listed, perhaps even now, that are to be repaired or repaved over that 6-year period.
That is my intent.
And could we amend that motion to have the actual list of roads to be dealt with?
I would defer to Frazier and Paul for that, because they know, excuse me.
Well,
I would defer to them for that, because there's a process in place already to identify roads that need to be repaved, right? Now, if I feel or
but
you
not
feel.
necessarily.
There's not?
Y'all identified them. I don't know.
That was a SPOS 2 list of roads, right?
Correct, and
Or
you
T-Splosh.
identify the LMIG projects too, and then the
And the
supplemental
LMIG
LMIG projects.
Right, but now, if we're going to allocate 3.6 million over 6 years, should we not have another list of roads to be taken care of within that 6 years?
Eventually, but what happens if it comes up under the LMIG number and you need additional funds to pave under the LMIG number? So you're going to have the opportunity to select
And
those roads.
we're not talking about supplementing the LMIG. We're not talking about supplementing a T-Splosh. We're talking about $3.6 million to repair or repave roads.
And I agree. However, when you pick LMIG projects, everybody gets a mile plus and the number comes in $1 million. So if you get 700 from the state, then you can use 300 for the match. You're still paving roads.
And I'm saying that this 3.6 million should be in addition to the LMIG, in addition to any T-Splosh money.
I mean, that's a call for y'all.
We should have a separate list of roads. we are passing a resolution which restricts that money to a specific purpose, all right? So this becomes a special fund, which can't be used for any other reason.
Correct.
Right? Unlike, I mean, you know, in the T-SPLOST language, it says for transportation purposes. Well, you could do anything almost with that. You know, buy tires for your truck if you want. That's transportation purpose. What I want to see is a specific list of roads that are going to be dealt with this $3.6 million.
And this body has approved every mile of road over the last 15 years, so I don't understand. You want to generate a list out of thin air today saying, here's the list. Is that what you're after?
Yes.
Then
I want
that's
it-
a board decision.
I want it tied, the 3.6 million over 6 years, I want it tied to specific road repairs or repaving.
So it's $600,000 a year. If you're lucky, that's 2 to 3 miles. So y'all get a half mile and figure it out. Or you get 4 votes to say, or 3 votes to say, spend it all here, spend it all there. I mean, that's your decision. I give you guys the list of roads that y'all tell me to give you, and then you vote on it from there. So the LMIG, I would prefer to combine that with $700,000 or $600,000 from the state and give you all a $1 million project or $1.2 million project and get better results and better yields rather than sit here today. But I mean, that's up to y'all. That's a board decision. I'll figure out how to manage the funds. And since you're going to designate them restricted, I'm bound by this decision. So
Well,
we'll spend
let me-
$600,000 a year on roads.
Let me specifically amend the resolution, or the motion, by saying that we are going to dedicate $3.6 million of the fund balance over a 6-year period, and the list of roads to be repaired is to be presented to this commission within 30 days.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second to that motion? Not to his.
To the amended.
We have an amended motion on the floor.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, and now it's up for discussion. And the guy that made the motion gets to speak first.
Well, I've just, you know, we've had a lot of smoke and mirrors about how we're going to pay for roads and whether we're going to use surplus or extra collections from SPLOST 9. We're going to use the $23 million of GO bond money that we've generated, even though we have $24 million worth of debt service to pay. I want something specific in writing so that we know that $3.6 million over 6 years is going to get certain roads repaved, or at least, and you know, we can generate that list if we want to go with dividing that $600,000 a year 4 ways. That's fine, but you know, we have to have a specific list of roads to be attended to with this money, and not just throw it into the general pot of transportation purposes, LMIG supplement, or I mean, we have to have other means of supplementing that LMIG. If we didn't have this motion, we would supplement it somehow. If we don't get a T-SPLOST number 3, we're still going to have to do roads. I don't know how much it's going to cost to do the lift tech process on Harmony Road or Crooked Creek, or and there are some other roads that are not on the T-SPLOST or the LMIG list now that need attention. I think Commissioner Wooten knows of a road in his district that absolutely needs to have attention paid to it. So I would say, you know, let's all take 30 days. Each of us can come up with a list of roads. What we're talking about is perhaps over a 6-year period, maximum of what, 12 miles? I don't know what the number would be, Paul.
Can I, let me interject. Could I ask you to consider 90 days instead of 30? People go out and drive. I know when I was District 3 Commissioner, I drove every mile, 205 miles in District 3. I went up and down all of them. And it takes time, and I'm afraid 30 days is not enough time to evaluate the roads you want. And something else is going to happen in that 90 days, and that is we will have bids out for the roads we're talking about now for the lift tech. We should have that back and be dealing with it here. So I have a problem with 30 days because I don't think it's enough time, and I don't know what, I haven't talked with Paul about this. But
I have no issue with 90 days. I thought 30 days would have been adequate to identify a road or a couple of roads, couple of miles of roads in anybody's district. I think Ms. Olson has spoke to some in District 1. I know of some in District 3, and Commissioner Wooten has a specific road in District 4. District 2, all of your roads are repaved.
That's because the city manages their own roads, and that's most of my district.
And you know, the city is putting $3.5 million for roads into their SPOS 10 proposal.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Garrett.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate Commissioner McElhaney revisiting this issue and coming up with an alternative solution. But question for the county manager. $600,000, what proportion of the current fund balance does that represent, roughly?
200,000?
600,000.
Oh, 600,000 on, say, 8 million, 9 million? There you go, you can do the math on my calculator.
Okay, so it's maybe 8% or something.
I just did it in my head. I don't know. That may not be right.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, rather than a dollar amount, given that, to Ms. Vargo's point, you know, we don't know what the future holds. We don't know what today's fund balance will be worth, what today's versus tomorrow's dollar will be worth. Would we be more prudent in allocating a percentage of the fund balance, you know, to match what $600,000 is today? We anticipate our fund balance will grow because we anticipate our county will grow. Would that be smarter than picking a dollar amount that will lose value over the coming years? Tariffs, etc. Inflation is probably going to be going up, not down.
So if the fund balance, we're going to draw down the fund balance this year in this pending budget as well as the prior budget. It's looking like we're going to take some out. Then it becomes a race to determine how fast maybe the hotel gets done. The public shopping center gets done, the Drew Hotel, or the property in the city, the hotel there, trying to pick up bigger projects. 600 is a manageable number, and the only reason, I mean, that's what Dr. Hershey put at 3.6. So that's his number. I just got to the math of 50,000 a month. Okay, that's a manageable number moving forward for me. 50,000 a month is pretty good. If we make it a percentage, then who knows what's going to happen.
I'm just raising the issue, and I'm only hearing about this motion now, so I'm trying to think in real time about the pros and the cons. It seems like it accomplishes the same goal, which is a positive. And my hope is that any public opposition to SPLOS 10 concerning roads, that would be very clearly demarcated, so folks would understand The reason roads are not in SPLOST 10, even though, as Commissioner Hersey just said, the city has them in SPLOST 10, but nonetheless, they're not in the county version because we're making this additional allocation. I just hope we can adequately position that so there isn't confusion. But as long as we can accomplish that goal, then it feels like this is just an alternative way of arriving at the same objective.
Commissioner McElhaney.
It is definitely an alternative way of arriving at the same objective, and it doesn't put a $1.2 million hit to the fund balance to buy a fire truck, and it also doesn't do away with the ambulance. So, and I think it took some money away from the hospital as well. So I think this gives us an opportunity to accomplish what Commissioner Hershey was after, and I agree with him, and not affect any of the other areas.
I mean, just to clarify, obviously it's taking a lot more out of the fund balance than we would have otherwise have done, but it's preserving the integrity of the original SPLOST 10 projects.
Mm-hmm. We have further discussion. Yes, Commissioner Hersey.
Just as a reminder, what is the fund balance and how did we ever get a fund balance? Well, it's just taxes paid forward. I mean, it's surplus taxes. Last year, the budget came in, $700,000 under the projected budget. There was a budget adjustment this year that took $100,000 back up from it, but still, there's $600,000 was put into the fund balance because our budget came under. Now, that's a little bit misleading because we had to put $755 million from the fund balance into our budget in order to balance it. So we really ended up paying.
You said million. Where did we get that?
755,000.
That's better.
So we ended up actually taking $155,000 out of the fund balance to balance our budget last year. I don't know what it's going to be this year. I don't think we're going to spend $8.3 million of the fund balance to balance the budget this year, based on the requests that we've got. But, but so to me, it really doesn't make any difference whether we have the money in SPLOST 10 and we buy these items from the fund balance, or we have the money from the fund balance in roads and we buy these the ambulance and the fire truck from SPLOST 10. It all comes out to be the same thing, providing that we have a specific list of roads that as I say, that are going to be worked on, and not have the $3.6 million simply put into, well, if we need it here, we'll spend it here. If we need it there, we'll spend it there. If 90 days is a more reasonable time period, I'm willing to accept a 90-day period to come back with a list of roads from each of the district commissioners. And I guess each commissioner would have about two miles based on what?
Better hope that asphalt plant gets built quick.
What? Well, a mile and a half probably, if the asphalt plant's there.
I'm defining.
Commissioner will have what?
Okay, you want to change the motion?
$700,000 or $800,000 to $700,000 or $800,000 over 6 years to identify specific roads to be repaved.
It's $600,000 a year for 6 years.
$600,000 a year.
Right. And then 90 days to get the list together.
To get the list.
If the guy will second that motion.
And
he can.
what I'm trying to get at is how many miles of roads should each commissioner list?
No more than 2. And if it's a full depth reclamation, you're looking at $500,000 to $800,000 with no trouble.
Exactly.
So depending on the condition of the road, if we're just talking 4 inches asphalt, we paid as high as $250,000 a mile when we given them small projects, and we paid back in the old days before COVID $120,000 a mile. So you're looking at somewhere between the 150 and 200 for a big project. You're going to probably pay over 200 for small projects because those guys have to bring in the asphalt, the trucks, the equipment, and they could be doing something on South Steel Bridge, they could be doing something on Harmony or up in that area. So the logistics is important, and you get a lot more bang for your buck when you coordinate all that stuff and have them all in the same area, so they're not hauling equipment all over town. So just realize that if that's going to be the option, that these guys are going to be located in 3 different districts far away from one another, the cost will go up.
I have a question, and this concerns Putnam County doing the paving. This $600,000, they could do some of the paving, perhaps, and depending on the roads, but for cul-de-sacs or small roads and things like that. And
Oh, definitely.
So it could work for that also, I believe.
Yeah, if you have a bunch of small cul-de-sacs, Fraser has, I believe, a rough estimate of, we looked at a couple, and I believe he's got the prices put together, and they go, depending on the length and how much, he can calculate the asphalt and give you a rough number. So you'd know going in that some cul-de-sac that's 3/4 of a mile long, he'd probably tell you what it's worth.
Well,
And that's what I was hoping for T-3. That's the time that I was looking at to sit down and say, here's a half-mile cul-de-sac, here's a 3/4 of a mile cul-de-sac, here's a 1 mile cul-de-sac. If you want it done in-house, you pay for the asphalt. So, but that's another discussion, so.
well, in terms of the cost to do it in-house, so to speak, I mean, you're talking about what? $100,000 a mile just for the asphalt, and if you have to do a reclamation,
No, this is straight paving. Our guys will not do a reclamation. We don't have the equipment. So we're just talking about laying 4 inches of asphalt, or fixing the holes and laying down 4 inches of asphalt. So we're not doing any FDRs whatsoever. We don't have any of that equipment to grind it up, mill it up, or lay it back in the ground.
So within 90 days, if each of the commissioners comes back with a road list for this $3.6 million over 6 years, they need to check and make sure that the roads don't need full-depth reclamation.
Right. If you may be able to tell, but we'll sure enough know when the engineer goes out and puts the documents together.
All right, so I guess, if we stay with 90 days, it'll give each of the commissioners time to check with Fraser about the condition of whatever road they select, and make sure that just repaving would be satisfactory.
Commissioner Wooten is.
Well, the holdup on one of my top priorities, roads down there, I think is 6/10 of a mile, and that's going to take probably $600,000 right there off the bat. I mean, because of the base, and it's been determined already that the base is not there. So that's going to be. So you talking about making a list? That's my list. That one road. That'd be my $600,000 or $700,000 just that one road.
Commissioner Garrett.
Just a thought. I mean, I can see the sense of making a list, and certainly see the sense of specifying what this money is going to be used for. But over 6 years, I can see priorities will change, road conditions will change. So I would like perhaps some caveat that would not lock us into a list regardless of circumstances.
Dan. Well, we had
I don't see any reason why, if we have a list that this $3.6 million or $600,000 a year or whatever, and we do have a T-Splosh number 3, why it can't be combined, providing that the particular road that is designated under this resolution is included in that list.
I thought you didn't want to combine them.
That's what I understood.
What?
I understood you didn't want to combine it.
That was my understanding also. You didn't want to combine.
We don't know
I agree.
whether we're going to have a T-Splosh 3.
That's correct.
Okay?
That's absolutely.
We really don't know if we're gonna have a T-Splosh 10.
We don't know we're gonna have a Splosh 10 either.
Well, we don't, but we're going to have a resolution for $3.6 million over 6 years. And a
That's
list
correct.
of
I
roads to
understand.
be done.
Then you still want the 90 days.
90 days would be fine.
And who seconded the first time? Because we're altering. Will you second?
So,
Second.
What are we?
yeah, still, I want to comment. All right. I agree with Commissioner Garrett. I don't have a problem with a list and coming up with a list, but again, to his point, over time, things will change. And we need to be able to make changes as needed. So I'll agree to it with that caveat.
The amendment is to come up with a list within 90 days. Now, if the road is not repaired or paved and another one becomes an emergency issue for a commissioner, I don't see any reason why we couldn't vote to change the list.
Takes 3 votes.
Cool. I'm good with that.
That's true of all the things. You got 3 votes, we can change whatever.
3 votes, we can do anything.
There you go.
Okay. Call for the question.
Okay, you call for the question.
Except adjourn. No.
But now Jeff, have you had your say?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just telling them, that money, my list would be one road, basically.
Okay, read the motion that was,
There's an amended motion.
amended motion is what I wanted to read. That's what
Okay.
we're voting on. We had a motion and a second.
Yes. Commissioner Hersey made an amended motion, seconded by Commissioner Garrett. The amendment is to dedicate $3.6 million from the fund balance over a 6-year period to repaving, repairing roads, with a list of roads to be presented to the commissioners in 90 days.
Does everybody understand? Is that good? Motion and second. Any further discussion?
I want to make an understanding. No more than $3.6 million.
That's it. That's what it is.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Okay, well, I'll call for the question and vote, and can we vote electronically on, this is the amendment. This verbal, this is verbal, because it's the amended. So, District 4.
Aye.
District 3.
Aye.
District 2.
Aye.
District 1.
Aye.
The districts 1, 2, 3, and 4 vote aye, so that carries. And that's the amended motion. Now we got to go back to the original motion, and does that, I don't think I have to do that since we voted it down, so we're good. Just making sure that I've got it right. Okay, we'll move right along. Next on the agenda is item number 12. This is discussion and possible action regarding how Putnam County might, with other local governments and groups, mark our nation's 250th anniversary in 2026. And we have several people signed in to speak, and the number 1 person is Barb Vargo.
Okay, for our 250th anniversary, first of all, and it's been posted all over the place, fireworks. I know what ACCG says, but I've seen Milledgeville do it, and the city pays for it. We need some place where everybody can go, even if they don't have a boat, to see the fireworks. So for this year, we need fireworks, and we need a parade. So, and I'm sure everybody else is going to have something to add to this, but that's where I come from. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person on the list is Bill Vargo. Bill?
I agree. We need fireworks. That's one of the biggest complaints I'd seen on social media since the 4th of July. Putnam County didn't have any place to go see fireworks other than possibly a couple private shows that were basically on the lake. I know Coney Springs had some fireworks at one point in time, and I was hoping maybe we can get that arranged somehow, some way. I don't know if that's an insurance policy deal through ACCG or what, but I'd like to get that issue resolved. And that'd make a great place, because I see a Coney Springs Park's got a band that we seen there on the 4th of July called the Medallions. And that
Swinging Medallions.
The Swinging Medallions. My God, that was an awesome show. And Susan said she's got them back for next year, so that'd be a good show to have those guys and some good fireworks there.
They're actually going to be there, and I'm sorry to talk, but they're going to be the 30th of May.
30th of May, too? Okay, I didn't know
No,
that
they
one.
won't be there 4th of July. They have a commitment.
Okay. I misunderstood
I'm
her
sorry,
then. That's fine, we can find somebody else. But that, and I know this is a sore subject for Paul, but I'd sure like to see a Dan Carr show that supports the Georgia Sheriff's Youth Home. And I have been working with a car show group in Milledgeville that does have their insurance in place. And if that would be a great help, we could, if that would help put it on here, someplace on county property, that would be great too. Put it in combination of the two possibly. But Barb and I would both like to work on the recreation committee that's been newly formed. And we've done these kind of things before, and it wouldn't be new to us to promote some events. And that would be on our list of things to do, would be to get the different parks and so forth involved in these type of activities, and maybe have an event, say at the rec department or Jimmy Davis Park or wherever it'd be convenient. But we got a list of things we'd really like to get going if we become part of that committee. So yeah, fireworks, car shows, anything else, flea markets, whatever. But the parade, that'd be great. There was several towns, communities around that had parades. Get the golf course involved, some sort of event. But that's my 2 cents. Any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you very much, Bill. Next on the list for item number 12 is Jennifer Ray.
Okay, it's good to be here. First, I want to thank you, Richard Garrett, putting this on the agenda tonight. I did find this, we sent an email, and Vargo's were on there as well, and I brought up the 250th anniversary, and that email went out to all the commissioners. So I do find it ironic that Richard Garrett, Commissioner Garrett, a British citizen, is the one that put this on the agenda, and we have Commissioner Wooten, who's lived here his whole life, and Commissioner McElhaney. They ignored the email and didn't put it on the agenda, so I don't know, maybe not patriotic, maybe don't care about Putnam celebrating the 250th anniversary, but it was a little disheartening, to be honest with you. But it was uplifting that Commissioner Garrett did put that on the agenda, so thank you very much. When I think about the 250th anniversary of our country and, in the county, I've lived here over 20 years, and I care about the celebration. I think, we don't want a million things all on the week of July 4th. I think it needs to be spread out. I say we should kick off celebrations like right around Memorial Day and then run it all the way through July 4th. We have a wonderful opportunity with Step Back in our county. They have opened it up to the public before, and that's kind of going back in time, but that might maybe play a role with whoever does the planning and stuff. But I definitely think we need fireworks. I know if something going awry with fireworks is a concern, as far as fire or whatever, I don't know, but they do sell event insurance. I don't think it's super expensive. Clearly something to be looking into, and there's enough businesses in this county, I would think we could get them involved, and they would want to do something like this for sure. So I also think, we could look at having an antique tractor pull, a parade, different kinds, maybe, different things. Step Back, it would be great if they could bring in blacksmiths and do some kind of major event there. But again, that's privately owned, so you would have to do that. but Vargo's with like a drag race. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, I just want to bring that up and thank you, Commissioner Garrett, for putting on this list because I think it says mountains. You're just doing a phenomenal job, so I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. That is all. Everyone has spoken that wanted to speak on 12. So now I will go to Commissioner Garrett to explain his ideas. This was your item, so.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I can't really say it's my idea, but I saw the discussion about it. It was right after July 4th. And it struck me that, yes, next year is a momentous anniversary. I'm far too young to remember 1976, and I don't think I'll get to 2076. So I think this is something we should pay attention to. I agree. It is ironic that I'm a U.S. and British citizen, and perhaps we should revisit this whole independence thing. But joking aside, I would like to use. I think it is a momentous occasion, and I think it's a great opportunity, not just for the county by any means, but for the whole community to come together. You know, we're at a pretty divisive point in our country right now. There's a lot of back and forth about what our history means, and I'd like this opportunity to both affirm it for the people who are, you know, super patriotic, etc., and then also find a place for the people who are more skeptical and have questions, and above all, really learn that history. You know, I've had to learn it as a new citizen, but I think many native born citizens don't really know much of the detail behind what happened, why it happened, who was involved. And actually look back at the Messenger archive online, and in 1976, there was indeed a parade. They opened the Uncle Remus Museum free all afternoon, gave away lemonade. And then in 1926, there was actually a week-long celebration, all manner of details that I think have been forgotten to history as to how the country used to celebrate Independence Day. And I'm not sure the archive goes back to 1876, but if it does, I'll take a look, because the paper was going on then. So I don't have any particular strong opinions about exactly what we should do, but I think since we're now a little bit less than 1 year away from July 4th, 2026, and we want this to be a significant, memorable event, and yes, certainly, you know, fireworks parade, but I'd like to imagine perhaps a week-long series of events, some history-oriented events, make sure the whole community is involved, and I'm hoping we don't have to form any kind of super formal committee to do this, but I do think we need it to be grassroots and have people who just want to get involved and meet informally, and I'm not saying it has to be a county committee at all, but I'd like there to be some county input, some city input, school input, because the schools are going to be marking this, and getting the children involved, I think, could be very powerful as well. So I suppose what I'm looking for is support from my fellow commissioners that the county wants to be a part of this, but not own it. I don't want anyone to own it. I want the community to own it, but that we endorse the idea of beginning that planning process sooner rather than later. I don't think the Recreation Committee should somehow own it. They could contribute to it, for sure. But I think we need some sort of group of interested citizens that represent a variety of sides of the community, different points of view, willing to volunteer their time to meet regularly and really start to have this come together before we're too far into 2026. So I welcome any other thoughts, comments, suggestions.
Other comments? Commissioner Wooten?
Yes, sir. I agree that Putnam County needs to do something, but not the county itself. We got plenty of civic groups that can take care of this. As has been, like the Pilot Club, they do the Dairy Festival every year. That's one of the biggest things in Putnam County, in my opinion. There's fireworks. The liability on it. July the 4th, my wife, because my son married somebody from Jasper County, they went to Shadydale. Well, they had a big explosion over there and sent 3 people to the hospital. Then you're talking about Oconee Springs Park. That's county property. I'd hate to see all the 500 or 600 boats get out there and the same thing happen that happened over there on Lake Oconee. I mean, you know, I know that was a mishap, but that was a terrible thing. I just think the civic people, the civic organizations, and I'm sure they will step up and keep everything going. They always have, without the county involvement. Now, the county involvement would probably be fire department and EMS and the sheriff's department and the police department and things like that. But going beyond that, I really don't think that we need to get involved in it because civic groups do such a good job. They got plenty of time to do it. Thank y'all.
Other comment, excuse me, other comments? Commissioner C.
Well, I appreciate Commissioner Wooten's sentiment about the county per se not running the show, so to speak. But I do think that somewhere, someone has got to be coordinating things. I mean, we can't just let it up for chance that something is going to happen. So my suggestion would be that we actually do form a committee, if you will, and have a representative from the county, a representative from the city, a representative from the school system. All three to sort of head up and coordinate some kinds of events. I mean, Putnam County has a unique history over the 250 years, and I think those things can be identified and emphasized in a celebration of Putnam County's history for the last 250 years. And I'm not sure that the Messenger captures it all, but there are archives, there are books around that describe the history of Putnam County and some of the significant events that have occurred over the last 250 years. But I do think that there has to be some coordination. Even if the Pilot Club or some other civic, the Elks Club or some other civic organization puts on an event to make sure that there aren't two events scheduled for the same day, et cetera, et cetera. And I think the best way to do it would be to have representation from the county, the city, and the school system, all three, in a sort of coordinating committee. I hate to call it an organizing committee because it's not going to organize things. It's just going to be to reach out to some other community organizations to see if they are planning or willing to put on something.
I'd add the Historical Society to that also, because they're very good here in Eaton. We finished, Commissioner? Okay, yeah. Commissioner.
Yeah, so I agree. I think we do need some coordination because otherwise we do risk duplication or just drift.
Or it just
but I agree that to me we don't want any one part of our collective body, meaning the county, to somehow own this and run this, because that could create problems. So what I will, if others are in agreement, what I would volunteer to do is to reach out to the city, the school board, the Pilot Club, the various folks that make sense. And if I'm not thinking of anyone, I'm sure more will occur to me, but if anyone has ideas, let me know. And then just put this on the table and see if, without the formality of a committee that some body like ours has to form, it's more grassroots, but nonetheless, it's organized, it's effective. That would be my suggestion.
Commissioner McElhaney had something to say.
I agree. I think we certainly should do something, but I, again, don't think the county should own it for obvious reasons, because I think when you do that, everybody looks to us to pull it off, and if it goes wrong, then who's getting the finger pointed at them, right? So it's got to be collective, right? And so I'm very patriotic. You probably won't find many folks more patriotic than me. I have two 30-foot flagpoles with the American flag in my yard. So I'm wholly supportive of this. I just think the way we do it needs to be thought out.
No, I agree. I mean, obviously, someone's going to have to run this, and there's going to be some liability and some management has to be taken, and there's always risk. But I think that's no reason to shy away from a big momentous event. We just have to plan it well and make sure everyone's in the know and responsible. And I'm definitely not questioning anybody's patriotism by any means. I don't have a flagpole, so.
I'll get you one.
All right. Check with my wife about that. But can you get a Union Jack too?
Sure, why not?
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. So again, I don't think.
It has to fly in the bottom, though.
All right, when you're not looking. But I don't think that I don't think you're saying someone else has to take responsibility. We're not taking it. I think you're just saying it needs to be shared, coordinated, not somehow seen as run or owned by the county or the county's sole responsibility.
Right. Commissioner Wooten.
Yes, sir. I'm not sure how many folks are familiar with EPTA. EPTA has got people from the school board, they got people from the hospital, and all the civic organizations. We meet the Wednesday after. We're supposed to meet tomorrow. I'm supposed to go tomorrow, but we got budget sessions, and that would be a good thing because you got the heads of downtown Eatonton, the movie people, and you got all the people, the heads of all the people right there. And if you're kind of looking for a committee to do it, that may be where you need to start searching first, because you got the arts and everybody is in there. I think it's maybe 15 people. The plaza's there, the chamber's there, the paper's there at all the meetings. And that may be where, if we're thinking about a committee, that may be where we need to start.
Yeah, no, that's a good suggestion. Who is the chair of EPTA?
Lou Benjamin.
Lou Benjamin.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I could reach out to Lou and see if he thinks EPTA might be the right forum.
I'm sure he'd take the task on, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I certainly agree that we ought to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our United States. I have nothing wrong with that. But it does have to be coordinated and put together. And rather than us try to pass a motion here tonight, I'd suggest that we go and do our individual looking into things and then talk about it, and let's kick it around some. But I think it's a good idea. Fireworks, I'm not sure about because of the liability, but a parade, there's all kinds of things. Somebody's a lot smarter than me will figure out things to do. Yes,
Chairman, there is, for y'all that's not been around here very long, I think for the last 15, 20, maybe 30 years, at least 30, because we took children up there when they were small, Rock Eagle has a great fireworks show. Crooked Creek has a great fireworks show. They didn't have it this year? Is that private? Okay. Huh? Not at Crooked Creek.
Yeah, let's.
But did you go to Rock Eagle because they had one?
Jeff.
Okay. Thank you.
No, you're okay to speak, but I just didn't want the back
and forth. Okay.
Commissioner Hersey, did you have something else to say? Well, you were waving your hand, so I was trying to recognize you.
I think we don't need a motion. We don't need to form a committee. I think Commissioner Garrett has volunteered to contact certain organizations to see who might be interested in participating. So I think that is sufficient.
Very good. And if everybody agrees, we'll move right along to item 13. And we have a bunch of folks that are signed up. This is a discussion and possible action regarding road repairs. And I don't know if we've already kicked that around or not, but starting first on the list is Barb Vargo.
Okay, I don't have much to say on this. I have a C attached. I went and looked at all the roads, and I guess Paul has actually kind of explained some things to me, but, you know, I can't understand when we do an open records and we find out we have 27 people on the road crew, road, shop, all over, and we're requesting 2 more. And we have a paver. If some of these roads can be done that way, why don't we do it? I mean, the only thing I actually see is them mowing lawns. And we've only got 4 tractors doing that. So I can't understand why we can't look at some of these roads and say, if they just need to be paved, we've got a paver and we've got road crews. So that's all I have to say.
Thanks, Barb. Next on the list is Bill Vargo.
Kind of going back to the budget for the roads and the paving. I don't know if you all are aware that July 1st of this year, Georgia put a new law into place for gross vehicle weight ratings on trucks, semi-tractor trailers, and as such on local and county roads. They didn't increase them on your interstates. In '23, they went from 80,000 to 84,000 gross vehicle weight rating on our side roads without even asking us, the county, if they thought that was a good idea or not. Well, on July 1st, they put another 4,000 pound GVW weight rating on our county roads and failed to do the same on the interstates, which you all know the interstates are built much better than a county road. Like you say, some of them is just asphalt on top of mud. So I just want to bring it to your attention that we got 88,000 pound trucks running around our county roads now, and most of my adult life has been in the trucking business and farming. I'm very familiar with the damage that trucks can do to roads. I know what heavy trucks can do to trucks. The maintenance on trucks is atrocious, so it goes back to what it does to the roads, especially when they don't have a lot of base in them and a lot of support under them. And then some of them are narrower than the others, where these trucks will run on the shoulder and break the shoulders down. So while you guys are thinking about the budget, I think you better think about possibly now adding a little bit more to the road budget just for this particular reason. Because these trucks, hey, if they want to haul it, that's up to them. But it's going to take a toll on our roads, and I think you guys better be aware of that. I think these guys are going to find out going from 80 to 88,000 pounds is going to take a toll on their trucks too. They just don't know it yet. I hauled steel when I first started trucking, and we hauled Michigan to Ohio. Well, Michigan's got a 160,000 pound GVW rating, but they allowed on 13 axles. You can go up to Michigan and see what kind of roads they have up there because of them heavy trucks. And we're headed that way with our gross vehicle weight rating here in Georgia by gradually increasing it every year. So, our county roads aren't made for this. You guys better expect to be paving more roads than you are now. And I think that $3.6 million that Mr. Hershey brought up should be an annual thing and not spread out over 6 years, because you're going to need it. These trucks are going to beat these roads up, especially the ones that are heavily traveled. Pea Ridge, one of them you see a lot of trucks on, and most of them are dump trucks or log trucks. And you put 8,000 pounds on top of what we just had a couple of years ago. That's like taking Mr. Hershey's truck and putting it on top of a dump truck and going down the road with it. That's a lot of weight. So, just a thought.
Thanks, Bill. Next on the list is Brandon Burgess. Brandon?
I think we covered most of it earlier, but thank you to all 4 commissioners for having the forethought. Mr. McElhaney for taking that from the fund balance and go ahead and putting it into process now. I think that's a great plan, and it's good for the future. So thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list, Jennifer Ray.
Okay, I'm here again. I want to say that, again, Twin Bridges is very dangerous. It's evident after looking at the road, having it measured. Billy Webster measured the road. It was never widened. So I think our county manager was incorrectly referring to Pea Ridge, which is significantly wider by like over 4 feet than Twin Bridges, which continues to be dangerous, where people can drive off the side and it's a couple inch gap, which will literally pull you off the road. I've sent pictures showing where people literally have to drive off the road so a fire truck can go by. It's just very dangerous. So I want to bring that to everybody's attention. The other thing, I've heard some conflicting things. Like I hear Fraser identifies the road, but from my understanding, the commissioners, because I think Paul referred to it, you guys decide. The commissioners decide which roads get paved in their district. And that brings me up to another thing I'd like to point out. That I feel like when you identify a list of roads for transparency, this should be released to your constituents in your district. Maybe you're not driving the roads like you should be driving, and maybe there's something you're not aware of, and that needs to be brought to your attention. And I can personally say, with all the roads falling apart in District 4, I have identified several roads. Even people that live on the roads are like, hey, I don't know why my road's getting paved. It doesn't need it. When you see there's other roads crumbling, that I would suggest in the next 90 days, especially my district, that you go to an eye doctor and get your eyes evaluated before you come up with a road list. Because it is, I mean, we don't have unlimited funds to pave roads, so we can't be wasting money to pave roads when you have roads that literally crumbling and you have one road or two with a crack in it and we're paving the whole entire miles of it, and the other roads are literally like falling apart and the base is rocked on them. So, and I didn't mean that nasty. I'm sure you have health insurance. I mean, I get my eyes checked. There's nothing wrong with that. Thanks.
Thank you. Next on the list is Charles Ray.
As far as roads, listen to y'all talk. I hate to say it, y'all are very reactive on these roads. I mean, they're crumbling. There is a foundational issue on how we're addressing the roads in this county. Some of these roads I've seen pictures of, they should never get to that way. And I'm not saying it ain't an easy job. I got it. It is a hard job. But as far as the grading, listen, y'all don't have a good comprehensive way of grading these roads out on should they get paved, should they not. And it should be standard across the board. District 2, District 4 should be grading the roads out identically. I don't understand why y'all not doing that. Like I said, if you see these roads getting in the condition this is, that is a major issue on the process y'all are doing to identify these roads, ensuring these roads are paved in a timely manner. Also, have y'all done any analysis? I know Paul said before, these are 20-year roads. If they're starting to deteriorate at 10 years, there's something wrong with that road that's causing it to deteriorate at 10 years versus 20 years. Or is that the new norm? Or is the traffic done got so much now where before we thought we had a 20-year road, and it's starting to deteriorate at 10 years? I know I see some of these roads. I drive up 129. Once they get to the point, they go out there and they tar all the cracks, so water don't get up under the base to deteriorate. Why ain't the county doing that? That is a preventative way to make that road last longer. So I think y'all need to really, if y'all have to get an expert in here to teach y'all how to look at these roads in a logical, methodical manner, so we are getting these roads paved in a timely manner. And sometimes the roads might not need to be paved. There might be some preventive stuff to prevent that deterioration to occur. So that's all I'm asking is look at it methodically. There's engineering firms out there, I'm sure, that will gladly come in here and teach us how to do our job on these roads.
Thank you. And last on the list is Billy Webster. Billy?
Chairman, commissioners, staff. Just one quick comment about the 3.6 million coming out of the fund balance. So we're going to take 3.6 million out of the fund balance to either pave roads Or alternately, we could buy fire trucks and an ambulance. My personal opinion is if you left 3.6 million in SPOS 10 for roads, it would stand a better chance of passing. My thoughts. Regarding this particular agenda item, in the packet there's a list of partial list of roads that needs paving. I'd like to add to that, if I could. And for the purposes of documenting this for the minutes, I need to read it. Request the following roads which are in dire need of repair or repaving be added to the existing list that's published in your packet. That's Little River Court South, Little River Run South, Little River Court, Upper Little River Trail, Little River Run, Little River Court North, Daylight Drive East, Little River Court West, Sunrise Drive, Sunset Drive, Twin Bridges, needs repaving between the Dennis Station and the first bridge, and Twin Bridges Road needs to be widened 4 feet. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Moving right along on item 13, this is a discussion and possible action regarding road repairs, and Commissioner Hersey has added this to the agenda. Commissioner Hersey?
First of all, I would ask former Chairman Webster if that list of roads could be sent to me or to the county so that we can record them. I would appreciate it. We've already discussed a lot of this with regard to the fund balance issue. Well, let me just provide a little bit of history, if you will. Over 100 years ago, 1914, 19 counties banded together to form the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, ACCG, which we are now all a part of. Why did they do that? Well, they did it specifically for the purpose of building and maintaining roads in rural Georgia. 100 years later, we have a lot of other responsibilities besides roads. But to me, roads are still the highest priority. That we have to maintain our roads in a manner in which vehicles can travel them at average speeds with average weights. And now, thanks to Mr. Vargo, we know that House Bill 164 has increased the average weight that can travel on our roads. Now, I don't want to, belabor this. We had a partial list. Lynn, if you could bring that up. That's not it. Yeah. Couple of things I would like to point out. Former Chairman Webster added a few items to the list. There are some obviously other roads that need attention, either repaving. Some of them just need repairing, but a couple that I would like to mention specifically. To add to the list, one road is Spring Road. Now, that Spring Road is the road that leads from Rockville Road to Oconee Springs Park. It is the gateway to one of Putnam County's major event centers. The park, the Edgewater Event Center. You go down that road and it's nothing but patch here, patch there, patch here, and a few potholes that haven't been patched. And it just seems to me that we need to, as the first thing that a visitor to that park sees, as first thing that somebody pulling a camper in to camp in that park sees, the road ought to be in at least decent shape for the campers and visitors to travel over. I understand that on this list again is Harmony Road, and Paul has said that I guess it's out for bids. because it needs a full-depth reclamation from, I guess, basically from Scott Road to 441.
Correct.
Right.
And I understand that, and I understand that Ward Chapel, I don't know what it's gonna cost. Certainly gonna, boost that $15 million bid package to more than $15 million. But one question I do have to ask, and that is in a recent meeting of this board, we voted to get an estimate of what it would take to three-lane Harmony Road from 44 to Scott. Have we got that information?
No, sir, not yet.
And have we asked for that information?
I did. I had spoken with Atlas, but we hadn't taken any action moving forward yet. I wanted this project done, the road project we're on now.
And I would ask that you please inform us as soon as you have that information.
Oh, yes, sir.
I know Mr. Burgess is here, and in his construction of the commercial subdivision there at Thunder Point, the heavy-duty trucks have literally crushed the first part of Thunder Road. I mean, it's just, and I know that they're working with the county to fix that issue. My question would be, if commercial traffic begins to traverse Thunder Road, Riverside Drive, how long is it going to be before those roads are going to be needed to be repaved? I suspect not very long. Anyway, the real question is, how do we pay for all of the road repairs we need? One of the problems that we've observed is that in days gone by, developers would come in, put in a subdivision, put in a road which was totally inferior, just throwing some asphalt on top of dirt without any solid base. And then the county would take over the road and it become a public road. And now we are reaping the reward of not having sufficient requirements for a road before it's taken over by the county and becomes a public road. And I think one of the issues that we might consider for the future, and I wouldn't want to make a motion to that effect tonight, but I mean, should we make developers use the lift tech process for any roads that they plan to make public, so that we don't, as a county, acquire additional responsibility for the maintenance of those subdivision roads? We do have a serious problem particularly with our small subdivision roads, and I don't believe we have the money to cure the problem right now. I think the motion we had earlier to use $3.6 million of the fund balance, even though it is over 6 years, is a start. We will need more money to do the adequate repairs on all these roads. So with that, I make no motion. I just make an appeal the county to have roads as a very high priority on your agendas.
Other comments? Commissioner Garrett?
Well, just to try and connect what Commissioner Hersey said to some of the public comments, and I'm obviously new to this process. I know there is this tradition of asking commissioners to nominate roads, and that makes sense up to a point. But I wonder if it would be helpful to try and aggregate a sort of bottom-up list of roads in need of repair, and then to try and find some objective way to evaluate them, so it isn't just commissioners, last minute deciding this road, that road, that may or may not be the most appropriate road. Yes, we should be writing our districts. I think you're right, but we're not going to know it as well as the people experiencing a problem round a corner we may never go down. So I wonder if we could, and again, correct me if this already happens to some extent, but not solely rely on us to nominate roads at a certain point in time, but maintain a running list of roads in need and then some sort of scale of relative severity that would make everyone feel like we've got our arms around it. We're not cherry picking. We know the counties, the state of the roads county-wide, and we're prioritizing where it makes sense. We'll never have enough money. There'll always be more problems than we can address. But I think if everyone felt like the selection process was transparent and the means of selection, or rather the knowledge base was comprehensive, then we might avoid this perpetual sense of, these roads, when we don't seem to have a county view beyond what some individuals think at certain points in time. But again, correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, but that's my impression coming in new to this process.
Just to highlight what you're talking about is we provided a list to Dr. Hersey not long ago when he had roads to pave, and he overrode the list. He decided to work the backside of Cuscawilla up in that area. So Fraser does know what roads are deemed in need of repair, but it becomes a political decision, not a
right objective one. No, I understand,
so,
but
I mean that's where we're at. So yeah, it happens. Folks get calls all the time. Why isn't this? Why isn't that? Y'all understand there's a finite pot of money. Everybody is horse trading this or that, and the roads they share, you got to get that person to buy in to doing half your road as well. So it's a truly collaborative effort. It's not going to be perfect. You're not going to get a quantitative list of here's the roads, do them. You're going to have to get 5 people to say that, and the odds are slim.
Right.
So,
but I suppose what I'm wondering is this list that Fraser has. Is it written down? Is it something we can look at?
He's worked off an old list. I believe it was when Larry Kaiser was here. That was 2014, 15, and the list was graded. It was a passer rating quantitative list from, I think he plagiarized it from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, and he's worked that list for several years. I'm sure it needs to be updated, but those roads were still a problem back then, and we haven't gotten to them. So that's kind of where Fraser's looking to do something with. But at the end of the day, I'd be happy to bring another company in here to get a more modern assessment, but understand that assessment may sit on the shelf and get trumped by, political decisions.
No, I understand that.
That's how much money do you spend? And to the chairman's point, everybody knows what roads are bad. The Sunfish, the stuff in the 4th District that was built back in the day, yeah, that's bad. And I'm afraid today it's going to be a $600,000 to $800,000 a mile fix. So it's going to be pretty pricey. So, and then that diminishes the yield you get of the number of miles, and it's just, I'd like to see us, if you really want to just take a big bite of the apple, go look at them all, pave them all, get a price, and then go to the market and fund it with tax money for 25 years. That solves your problem today, but it doesn't smooth in those 5-year increments of, I'd like to spend $20 million every 5-year period rather than 100. So then it puts you 25 years from now spending probably $200 million at that point in time. So those are political decisions that I do it this way just to make sure there's no surprises. Like I said, I know we're going to spend 20, 25, $30 million over time to do these. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. None of them are cheap, and none of them are 100% scientific. So
right. So again, all I'm asking as a commissioner who doesn't want to make overly political decisions is to have some sort of running list that we can all, that Fraser and you would coordinate, where all this, people throwing roads around, that it's all being collated, and when the time comes for us to make that decision as commissioners, that we have that reference point.
I can tell you about District 3. I was District 3 commissioner. And the 210 miles were all driven with Tony Clack and myself. Every single road was identified. It was given a number. This is the shape it's in, and I don't remember, it was 1 through 5 or something like that. And looking at a 20-year, what's going to happen in the next 20 years. Then we did traffic studies in order to get the roads to do first. The roads that were used the most, we chose to be done first. So there was method and madness in the 3rd District that I can tell you about because I was there.
But that was your initiative to do that?
That was my initiative.
Okay. So if
But
I
Tony Clack and Paul, I'm
Right.
sure Tony worked for Paul.
Right.
But we rode every single mile and we evaluated every single road. And I had 20 miles of road in the 3rd District could be paved. And all 20 of those in the T-Splosh 2 are being paved right now.
But that was only done for District 3.
I
That
don't
systematic
know. I can't
evaluation.
say what other commissioners did at that time.
Right.
But District 3 was done that way at that time.
Okay.
And
So,
it was,
maybe the lesson is, I mean, that sounds like a good practice to do every now and then.
we put the counter out and counted people and saw who was running on the roads. And there was some that was really, really bad, but they didn't have much traffic, so they would go
Right.
down the list. But
Right.
the list was developed from that.
So Paul, is it fair to say what the chairman's describing was a commissioner initiative and it was helpful, but it doesn't necessarily mean it happened at the same time in the same way for the other districts?
Yeah, it's been a minute, but it's been more or less, the commissioners did ride their roads and then bring back a list of 20 or so miles of what we thought we were going to get. So yeah, they did put their homework in. District 1 has 40% of the roads in the county, so he's got a little more than you, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have the least ratio. I know.
But it was a little art and a little science trying to get it done because of the traffic counts and things like that. And to be honest, the roads that got paved were as bad or worse than what you see on the screen tonight. And those roads I know didn't get any better over the last 5 years. And that's going to be the same argument you're going to have 5 years from now of how come you didn't get these? Well, believe it or not, their roads were worse 5 years ago, and now you're there. So it's just it's a hamster and a wheel thing. You just keep chasing them and knocking them down one at a time. And that's...
But if I wanted to do what the chairman did a few years ago, arrange to ride around.
You can ride in your district with Fraser, and then
Right.
you look at the roads, and then you'll get them evaluated based on, he'll put the little radar sign out there. It'll tell you speed, count, and things like that of what the traffic looks like.
Right. Okay. That sounds like a good idea. Thank you.
Okay.
Just one
Commissioner
last
Wooten,
thing.
you want to say something?
Well, like I said, being here all my life, I've seen these roads being paved. And what Mr. Vargo has said, a lot of these people built their little fish camps on the lake, and there was no heavy traffic, nothing overweight, anything like that. Now, these houses are selling, the little fish camp houses are being sold, and the big trucks are moving in. We got a good example of it is Willow Forest down Alf K Drive. That man went in there and paved the road, county accepted it. And when they started building houses in there, all those big trucks, and it just demolished that road. And it's just the weight that's on these roads now that's tearing them up. They can haul more cement, they can put more weight on bringing the lumber in. It's just, and I've seen Napier Road down there. It was scraped, tar, gravel, till you got up to about 2 inches, and that's what it originally was. There's no base, and none of bluegill. Now Scuffleboro was professionally built by a contractor. Foles Road was professionally built by contractors. The Oconee Springs road was, that y'all travel every day, was professionally built by a contractor, because my brother worked out there. That road was paved in 75. And there was a dirt road up to 75, but it was really done right. So I just want to let y'all know that these roads are, and it can take let's just say a month of the heavy traffic, these heavy trucks, and you got a bad road just that quick. But that's what we're looking at nowadays. And like I said, the sunfish, just like the county manager said, we're gonna have to go in there and redo that whole, grind it up, put another base up under there, and that's gonna be $600,000 or $700,000. Thank you.
Commissioner McElhaney.
Yeah, I've got some dirt roads I'd like to pave, if you don't mind. We got a bunch of them in District 1.
But, is there other discussion on this? I believe we all agree that roads is a very, very high priority, and we're putting our money where our mouth is, so.
I just, one last comment, and that is, I think Commissioner Garrett is trying to say, let's get a priority list of roads. Which are the heaviest traffic, worst roads in the county, and let's pave those first. But that's not, as you know, how it works. I mean, how it works is that each commissioner gets 25% of this and 25% of that, and, you know, they get to pick out the roads in their own districts. So, you know, it's more politics than it is sense, I'm sorry about that.
Commissioner Wooten, you got one?
You're talking about putting the counter.
Put your mic on, please.
You're talking about putting the counter and everything up. You know, some of the people, like down in there where I'm at, it's a lot of people live there, but then there's a lot of times on the weekend travel. And what would be, Paul, what would be the time that you would put it up there? I mean, I know you don't want to go down there, nobody wants to go down there on Saturday and Sunday and put a counter up.
No, what happens is the speed notification sign that we put out in different places to slow down traffic, that has a counter, and it registers the speed and the time of day that the folks are riding. So it'll count the cars, their speed, and we typically leave them in a neighborhood, you know, chained to a telephone pole for 30 days.
Okay.
So he gets some pretty good data now. Holiday weekends would probably skew it a little, but you can just take that into consideration when you see the data. But yeah, it's that little orange sign out there can capture the data you need.
We left it on Scott Road 60 days.
Yeah, it was a while.
We've studied
So
Scott several times.
you can get some good data from it and good speeds from it.
Okay, thank you.
I don't believe we're going to have a motion on this. Is that correct? So we'll move along. I thank everybody for their input. I think this is a very good discussion, and roads are certainly a high priority. Moving along to our announcements, County Manager, do you have a report?
All-star game, no report.
Our attorney today, do you have a report?
No report.
District 1?
No, sir, other than I appreciate everybody's input on the road situation. I think we all agree that's something we got to come up with. And to your point, Commissioner Garrett, I'm a data-driven person, so I like that as well. If Commissioner Hurst should be willing to give me some of his, I'll be glad to take it.
Commissioner Garrett.
Just two quick things. So this weekend, I attended the inaugural banquet for a new organization focused on Putnam County, the African American Cultural Experience Complex. It's led by a man named Gary Andrews, who grew up here but left many years ago and became very successful in the banking industry. And the vision behind this organization is to explore how a museum of African American history and culture might be set up in Putnam County, and not just the county's history, but a regional initiative. I've always been struck by the absence of such an institution in our county. I think it could be a great addition. There's a long way to go, but I just wanted to make people aware of that if they didn't know that had begun. I'm sure they'll start fundraising and making their plans a little bit clearer. And the other thing, I just by chance, because my wife bought tickets, we went to the Honk musical at the Plaza on Sunday, and I was expecting something very amateur, but it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It was very professional, very well done, and credit to everyone involved. And then what I'm also pleased about is that the Arts Barn organization, I think I have this right, is close to purchasing the old Adele Theatre downtown, what used to be the FAR building on the Blackwell's furniture store, which was built as a theatre and has been preserved as a theatre. And they've found some way to restore it as a theatre. So we're going to have yet another arts venue in town making use of an historic building. And I just want to congratulate them on finding a way to do that. They're going to remain tied to the plaza, so that's not going to change. But we have some really impressive theatrical talent in this town, and I just wanted to acknowledge that. And it's only going to get better.
Commissioner Hersey?
Just one personal note, and that is tomorrow morning when the 9 o'clock work session starts, I will be a bit late because I am going to go to the new teacher orientation.
So am I.
All right, so we'll start the meeting late, I guess.
Well, no, they told me I could be
It depends
out.
on how much fruit and pastries you eat.
I'll be very easy.
Anyway, so the new teacher orientation is tomorrow morning at the high school, and Chairman and I will be there.
8 a.m.
So,
Commissioner Wooten?
I got nothing to report.
I have one thing I want to say, and it's concerning the Georgia Heart Hospital Program. I think most people are aware, but they don't take advantage. And this is a program where you pay state income tax, and you can designate that state income tax for our local hospital, or any other hospital for that matter, but our local hospital needs it. Now, $100 million was set aside by the great state of Georgia. To date, there's $59 million left out of that $100 million. So plenty of time. Now, the good thing about after July 1st is it's unlimited. You can go and ask for whatever you want. It's not a big deal. You don't have to, if you're not like me and not real computer literate, you can go by the hospital in the front door and she'll fill out the paperwork for you. And it's very simple. It takes about 5 minutes. I'm going to leave these little brochures that talk about it. And it used to be just individual, but now it can be married filing jointly or separately. It can be C corporations, trust, pass-through entities. It can be individually owned S corporations, LLCs, partnerships. It applies to everything. If you got an accountant, talk to your accountant. But this is a good sheet to take a look at. And this year to date, right now, we've collected about $988,000, getting really close to $1 million. And every penny goes to our hospital. I'm going to have them come in August to speak to us and talk about the Georgia Heart Fund. Folks, if they take away our state Georgia income tax, this would go away. So let's get out there and support the Georgia Heart Fund. That is my, and you can pass these down, everybody take one. I have plenty for everybody. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I got one thing.
Oh, you got one thing.
I'm sorry. I was able to go to Oconee Springs Park to the concert, the Swing Medallions. They're one of my favorites. I've been watching them for a long, long time. My dad introduced me to them and hadn't looked back. So, great concert, great venue. It was first class. I think everybody had a good time. I saw several of you guys there. And so I would encourage you to really support that park because they do some really great things there, and it was nice to see.
A wonderful concert.
Yeah.
And thank you for reminding me of that. First off, I'll remind everyone our upcoming FY26 budget work session tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. right here. It will be streamed as long as the stream will allow us. And then we meet again Friday, July the 18th at 9 a.m. So I'll remind you of that. Now I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? A motion and a second, no discussion. We'll call for the question. Please vote electronically.
Will you use my pen, Steve?
Voting is complete. Districts 1, 2, 3, and 4 vote aye. This concludes the business of the regular business meeting, and I declare this meeting adjourned.